welcome to Comic Connection podcast. I'm Connor.
And I'm Quinn.
Alright, so this week we have some of the Chuck Austen run. I brought it thinking that it was good, everyone hates it. Everyone always dogpiles on this comic.
We're going to get right into it today because this is going to be a long episode.
This is going to be a long episode.
We have so much to say about these.
Everyone dog shits on these comics. I personally loved it so much. I read Volume 4, The Draco.
And I read Volume 5, She Lies with Angels. So we need to find, if anybody knows where to find or can send us, because I know everybody on the planet's listening to this, and everyone who owns...
Chuck, if you're listening.
I know you're listening, Chuck Austen. I know you're listening. Send us your run of Uncanny X-Men. We're in love with it.
I want to read all of it. I need it in my life. It is so good. All right.
You need to stop your dog from
squeaking. Here. So, we love these comics. We are going to start with Volume 4 of the Draco. A quick thing is there are going to be some plot things that happen earlier in the run that we're going to kind of gloss over because it's kind of important to this run, but it's not in this issues. So I'll do my best to refresh, but if it's not super important to the story, I'm not going to bring it up.
Yeah, I will say mine, She Lies with Angels is very, almost like a one-shot. There's not too much that we need to know. There's a little bit that we'll get through.
From what I've read, Chuck does a good job at keeping story arcs contained. So I'm not too worried about getting anything crisscrossed.
And again, Chuck, if you're listening... Please, which you are.
You have to.
We know you are.
I'll find you and send this to your email. It's my favorite run ever.
Please send us. We love you.
We love you.
We're in love with you. Will you marry us? We think it's so fun. It's camp. It's camp and it's fun. And I love it. And I'm so grateful that you're in my life.
It's what comics should be. It should be silly, dramatic, a little crazy. The writing is great. The writing is so silly, so fun, but it's not bad.
Yeah, we get what you're going for.
Yeah.
We picked up what you're putting down.
All right.
Okay, I'm so excited. So again, I also want to make clear, I'm going into the Draco blind. I know nothing about the Draco, just like the audience, and...
I know very little about She Lies with Angels.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's jump right on into it.
So, we start with How Did I Get Here? A prelude to the Draco. First thing is we see this maid getting dressed after having sex with this man. And they're kissing and she's like, ooh, hee, let's do this again. How about you sneak into my room tonight and we'll have sex? And he's like, perfect, yeah, I'll totally do that. And then she goes away and she goes into this corridor and just starts laughing. She's just laughing and then she turns blue and it's Mystique.
Yes.
And then she's like, hee in the corner in the shadows. And then the real maid walks in and is like, hey, what are you doing? And she transforms into the lady of the house. And she's like, I thought you were blue for a second. She's like, nope, just the shadows. What are you talking about?
Okay, I need you to read, I thought.
Okay. So she goes, oh, I'm terribly sorry. What? Kashka, what's the matter? Oh, nothing. I thought you were blue for a moment there, Milady Wagner.
I legitimately, when you said I thought you were blue for a second, I thought you were being...
And then Lady Wagner goes, well, I've been running, perhaps because I was out of breath.
So good. I will say this, too. We love this so much, we are going to be reading snippets this time.
And then, I gotta read a little more. And then, so, since she was dressed up as the maid, Lady Wagner is now in a maid's uniform. And the maid goes, Milady, is that a maid's uniform? And Mystique goes, it's a surprise for my husband, if you know what I mean. And then she leaves, and she goes back into the room with her husband, the man of the house, Mr. Wagner. And they talk about having kids and how much in love he is with her. And in another room you hear screaming. And it's the maid. Because the guy came into her room to have sex with her and she didn't know what was going on. And the lady, Mr. Wagner, leaves the room to see what's going on and, like, fire the maid and fire the guy. And Mystique turns blue again and just starts fucking cackling again.
Straight to jail!
There's no explanation for that. There's no, like, she hated the maid, or she wanted to get that guy fired, or anything. She just did it to be a bitch. There is literally nothing. They never bring up anything about it. She just does that to be a little silly. And she starts doing fertilization treatments to try to have a kid.
Mystique does?
Yes. She wants to have an heir with Mr. Wagner.
Baby.
And then they go to a ball, and Mr. Wagner introduces Mystique to Baron Azazel.
Okay.
And Azazel and Mystique, who is still pretending to be Lady Wagner, fall in love, and they start fucking. And he knows that she's a blue transforming lady. And they start having sex. And so they kiss, and they jump to a scene where Mystique, all blue, is just standing on a cliffside screaming, "I am in love!" And then Azazel pops in. He is a red little demon man who can teleport. He bamfs just like Nightcrawler.
So this is what's controversial about this. And I will say this, Chuck Austen. I love you so much, but what you did to my boy Nightcrawler here is like an assassination of character. It is so bad.
It's so
I
good.
understand why people hate it, because it's like an insane, like the whole point of Nightcrawler is that like he looks evil but isn't a demon, and Chuck Austen was like, just kidding, I'm gonna make it so he is.
So he bamfs in, and she's like, "Oh, Azazel, you started me." He goes, "Oh, too bad you didn't fall off that cliff." And she's like,
in love.
And she's like, "No, Azazel, I'm pregnant." And he's like, "Oh, that's great. And what does your husband think about all this?" And she's like, "Well, it doesn't matter. I never loved him, but I love you, and let's run away together." And he's like, "Ew, no." And so she tells her husband that she's pregnant.
So she is legally married to this man.
Yes.
Okay.
And so she tells him that she's pregnant, and he's like, "Well, was it Azazel's because you hang out with him all the time?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "My father suggested we do a blood test to verify that I'm the father because we're pretty sure I'm infertile." And he's like, "I promise." He's like, "I'll promise to love you forever, but I want to do a blood test." And Mystique turns blue, gets all angry, sticks her hand behind her pillow, and pulls out a knife. Just pulls out a knife, and the next page is just her dragging his bloody body in a sheet and burying him outside. And then it cuts to her having the baby, and the doctor and the nurse freak out because the baby's blue. And then
the doctor,
Mystique freaks out.
Wait, the doctor? Why are you blue?
Mystique freaks out, and she also turns blue. And like, "Oh my god, you're blue!" And Mystique runs away and is like, "Well, I can change and be whoever I want, but this baby can't." So she throws him off a cliff. And you see the baby bamf away. And that's the end of the prequel, is that she gets rid of Nightcrawler.
And what a beautiful prequel it was.
And then we cut to the Xavier Institute, home of the X-Men, in the early morning. And Nightcrawler wakes up, is obviously in a haze, and steals a plane and flies away.
He steals a plane?
He gets in a jet and he flies away. They don't tell you why. He just gets in a plane and flies away.
He can teleport, though. What does he need the plane for?
And Wolverine sees him and was like, "What the hell? Kurt,
That's
come
what
back.
I'm thinking.
Where are you going?"
I'm also thinking, what the hell? He can teleport.
And then they jump to showing Iceman, who is hiding in the school's freezer. Because he got injured, and now he's slowly, permanently turning into ice. Aww. And it's hard to stay in a human form.
It's kind of sad.
And so he talks to, he's talking to the professor and Angel for a little bit, and Logan runs in and is like, hey, did anyone send Kurt on a mission? Like, what's going on? And so all of the X-Men decide to go try to find Kurt. And I'm sorry, this is insane.
We gotta take breathers during this.
They cut to near off the island of Des Moines, off the coast of Florida, and they show another blue mutant, and he looks like he's also been sent there. And the plane lands, and they show Nightcrawler landing in his plane. Then they cut back to the Xavier's infirmary, and Havoc is with his new girlfriend, Nurse Annie Gazakanian. Nurse Annie Gazakanian, I love her. She is written explicitly for the Chuck Austen run. She has been in one issue that wasn't written by Chuck Austen. And she is a human nurse who found Havoc when he was in a coma. And in the hospital is a John Doe. And she nursed him back to health. And her son is a telepath who, he's like 8. And he's a telepath who linked their dreams together while he was in a coma. And so they went on all these like dates and stuff.
Dream dates?
Dream dates. And so when he woke up, he fell in love with Nurse Annie. But when he woke up, Polaris, who was found in the wreckage of Genosha, which is just like, it's like a mutant holocaust. It was a terrible thing. Polaris is one of the only survivors. When Havoc wakes up, she's like, perfect, you're great, we're back together, let's get married. And he's like, okay. And then he leaves her. He leaves Polaris at the altar for Nurse Annie. And Polaris freaks out and tries to kill everybody, and then kind of just pushes it under the rug, and it's like, okay. And
so much is happening. It's insane.
Polaris and Professor Xavier walk in on Nurse Annie and Havoc kissing. And so they're kissing and they walk in, and Polaris goes, God, make me puke, why don't you? And Havoc goes, oh, Professor Lorna, we were just saying goodbye. And Lorna goes, oh, really? Is Nurse Annie leaving us? And they explain that Havoc is going on the mission with everybody. And Lorna's like, ooh, can I come? I promise I'll be good. Because she has not been good. And she's been killing people on missions and no one's happy with her. And
yeah! What? She's murdering people on missions?
Yeah, she'll like kill the bad guys instead of taking them in.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a friendly fire situation. Like she's just like in the plane and she just like stabs someone and they're like, Lorna, no!
So Charles is going to go and do psychic mind therapy with Lorna to try to help her through her traumas of Genosha. And Lorna's like, why doesn't Nurse Annie come and help? Because she's an antagonistic bitch and I love her. And so Nurse Annie is going to help them. And she's trying to coerce Annie to do it, into helping them. And Lorna goes, take your time. Annie and I will just be rekindling our embers of our chilling friendship.
Oh my god.
And she goes, won't we, Annie? And they zoom in on Annie and she just looks pissed. And then Juggernaut comes in and he's trying to get a plane to go visit
the Blue Island that everybody
Johnny the Squid Boy.
What?
Who is an octopus-looking mutant who went to Professor Xavier's school. Juggernaut immediately was like a father figure to him.
What?
And it was like super sweet. They're like really good friends. And then his abusive dad took him back to Canada. And Juggernaut wants to go to Canada and see Danny the Squid Boy.
What the fuck?
Professor Xavier and Juggernaut have a little heart-to-heart and a big fight about how abusive their father was. Then we cut back. There's a lot in this comic. There's like 3 consecutive storylines going on. I'm going to kind of gloss over the Juggernaut story because it's not super important to this.
It just sounds fucking insane, though.
Yes. They cut back to the island, to the island of Demonas, and all of the X-Men are there. It is Wolverine, Havoc, Husk, Angel, Jubilee, and Iceman. And they walk in, and a bunch of demonic-looking, either blue people or demon people with angels are all holding hands and standing over a fire. And there's a couple demonic people. And we cut back to some drama with Dan the Squid Boy.
Oh, we get Danny the Squid Boy in
yes.
this? Oh my god.
And his father's beating him. And they cut back to the Xavier Institute. And
the Draco's intense. There's a lot of weird crap in this.
And so Lorna, being antagonistic, goes, "So I'm thinking Annie should join us on this little mind walk, Professor. As a healer, it might prove most informative, don't you think?" And Professor Xavier's like, "Please don't tell her." And so she's like, "Come on, you hate mutants. You should learn how to love mutants. You'll figure out how to love mutants in my mind." And so they
wait, Annie hates mutants?
Annie's abusive ex-husband was a mutant, and she just doesn't like mutants. And she went to the Xavier's Institute because she loves Havoc and she wants to help mutants now, and she's trying to get over her prejudices because her son's a mutant.
Okay.
So they show back to the Squid Boy. I don't think his name's Danny. I'm sorry. Sammy the Squid Boy. And they cut back and he's running away from home.
Right.
And Carter, Nurse Annie's son, telepathically talks to Sammy. And is like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Guess where I am, Sammy?" And he snuck on the ship with Havoc and is in the island of Demonas we have an 8-year-old child on the mission with them. And they don't know that he's there.
And also the mission is whatever these blue demon people are doing.
Yes. We cut back to Xavier's. And it's just so good. So they cut into her mind. And Annie immediately looks shocked when she opens her eyes because the first thing she sees is Lorna and Havoc having sex.
What a fucking bitch.
And Lorna smirks, looks at her and goes, "Oops. Is this not the memory we're looking for, Charles? Me getting cozy with Annie's boyfriend?" And then
she is so messy for that.
She is so messy and I love her. And they cut back to
excuse me.
They cut back to the Isle of Des Moines. This comic was all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we want to recap it as it reads, so it is kind of a lot. If it's hard to follow, we're sorry. That is Chuck Austen's fault. I know you're listening, Chuck. We still love you, and we think you're perfect.
So they go and see Nightcrawler, and he's in a trance, and he's holding hands with all these people, and we can't get him out, he's in trance. And then they're like, "We can't just leave him, so I guess we'll wait." And then one of the researchers that they're with finds the little boy. Okay. And they cut back to Xavier's.
Alright, so let's try to take a second to get the stories that we have. So we have Nightcrawler,
Nightcrawler in a trance. Doing a weird ritual with other blue demon people. We have the X-Men going to see what's going on. And we have Professor Xavier and Annie in Lorna's mind.
Okay, and don't forget we also have Sammy the Squid Boy.
We have Sammy the Squid Boy and Juggernaut and Alpha Flight member North Star coming to go see Sammy.
Okay. So there's a lot happening. And it cuts really quickly.
It does.
So it does. It's like you have one page of one thing and another page of another thing.
So Lorna explains...
It's going to be a little confusing.
Yes. Lorna explains that she goes to Genosha because she realized she does a privatized paternity test and realizes that Magneto is really her father. Then we cut back to the island, and Havoc realizes that Carter is there with them. He freaks out a little bit.
Yeah, his girlfriend's son.
And then
that can't be good.
They all get attacked, and an arrow shoots Iceman right in the chest. And he goes, if I were anyone but Iceman, that could have killed. And then he explodes. And they go, oh my God, Bobby, the arrow exploded. And they all start getting attacked. And
I love that they say, oh no, the arrow exploded.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh gosh.
And then they have the researcher run off with Carter, and Husk is trying to get Nightcrawler off of Nightcrawler out of the circle.
They don't know where the arrow came from?
No.
Correct? Okay.
And then they all are in a fight, and they all run to Nightcrawler, and then they all teleport, and this big crater is gone, and everything in like a 50-mile radius is just disappeared.
Teleported.
Yeah, teleported away.
Nightcrawler. Okay.
We cut back to Polaris, and she's talking about how she went to Genosha, and word got out that she is Magneto's daughter. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're the son of Magneto, we love you, and they welcome her with open arms. And then, all of a sudden, the Sentinels attack. And everyone around her gets brutally murdered. And she is the only survivor. Then we cut back to the random place where the X-Men and Nightcrawler and all the weird demon people got teleported.
Except for Bobby, R.I.P. He exploded.
He exploded.
I gotta make it clear, everybody knows, Iceman exploded. And they literally said, oh no, he exploded.
So...
I hope when I die that I want that on my tombstone.
So Nightcrawler comes to, and he is naked, and he has fused to the two people next to him by the hands.
Whoa!
And...
Who are they?
Just two random demon people,
okay.
And they're dead.
That's sad. Along with Bobby.
And so...
he exploded.
They try to free him, and then more demon people show up, and they point out that one of the X-Men is a cherubim, which is an angel-like creature.
Okay.
And then they chop off the skin around Nightcrawler's hands and use Angel's healing blood to heal his wounds. And they're all getting attacked by the creatures.
So now there's creatures that are...
Yeah.
Are they what shot the arrow that killed Bobby?
Yes.
Okay, so there's creatures that are trying to kill them. Got
yeah,
it.
they all look like they all look kind of like Nightcrawler.
Okay, so Nightcrawler-esque.
Yes.
Demons are attacking them.
And
they killed Bobby.
They put Warren's healing blood on Nightcrawler, and it starts burning him. And one of the other demon things says, "My lord, the angel's blood burns the Neophim. It burns one of your scions." So basically, if you are a demon-like mutant, angel-like mutant, healing blood will hurt you because angels and demons, blah blah blah.
Okay.
Then we go back to Sam the Squid Boy, and he's getting his ass kicked by bullies.
God, we went back to Sam the Squid Boy. I was really worried about what was happening with him.
Juggernaut and North Star have a conversation. A little homophobic, I'm not going to get into it. Then they cut back to Lorna.
Where does homophobia come in?
Because North Star is gay, and Juggernaut's like, well, I'm not one of those queers. And
wait, but is he gay too?
Juggernaut, okay, so Juggernaut...
Yeah, sorry, you do have to get
all of the other writers in Juggernaut's backstory write Juggernaut as in a gay relationship with Banshee's cousin, Black Tom Cassidy.
Okay.
And Chuck Austen didn't get that memo and writes Juggernaut as a straight man.
A homophobic straight man.
A little homophobic straight man. It kind of reads as internalized homophobia, but Chuck Austen did admit that he did not read Juggernaut is gay.
And this is the reason why we love Chuck Austen.
And then we cut back to Lorna, and she's freaking
I will
out.
say, if you're writing an X-Men show, or like X-Men comic, it's probably safe to assume that every single one of the X-Men is gay in some way.
And so they show Lorna, and she's still freaking out about the Holocaust that happened to the mutants.
You're still on that, Lorna? You're still freaking out about it?
And she talks through it and tells Charles that she will work on herself and try to be better. And she's overwhelmed because she wanted to be happy and all these terrible things happened. And she finally saw Alex come back and she was so excited to start her life over. And he doesn't love her anymore and she's just upset, but she'll get over it.
That's nice.
Then they cut back to a battle between the demons and the X-Men. And they're all fighting. And Azazel wants them to stop. They're still fighting. And then one of the mutants that you find out, I'm pretty sure he's in older comics, he creates a black hole in his stomach and sucks random things in. And apparently Mystique attacked them one time and he sucked her in and she hasn't been seen since. No one knows where she came from, what happened, and all of a sudden his random things start coming out of the portal in his stomach and Mystique pops out. And they're like, God. Look what else came out. It's Mystique. And Mystique says, you say that like you're glad to see me, darling. And then that's the end of this issue.
We are glad to see you.
They cut to the next issue and they continue fighting. And Azazel tells them to stop. He uses his demon powers to get them to stop. And then they introduce some more teleporting demons. Some of the X-Men get brought to the dungeons and some are kidnapped and are going to be tortured.
Oh my God.
Then they cut back to Juggernaut. And he fights, he fights Sammy's abusive father. And North Star runs off with a super speed to go get back up. And then we see Azazel in his courtroom of his ballroom of people having dinner. And he asks Angel who the leader is. He's like, well, that's none of your fucking business. And Azazel's like, well, you should tell me because I am Kurt's father after all. And everyone freaks out. And
that's obviously why he's here.
Everyone freaks out and Logan goes, you're full of it. And Mystique smirks and goes, not as much as you might think, Logan. And Mystique has some great one-liners in this.
Mystique is obviously fucking crazy in this. It's insane to see her do all the shit that she does.
And so they're like... And he goes, Mystique, you are my real mother? You've hinted at it often enough, but I didn't know. And Azazel goes, oh, she is your mother, Kurt, at least genetically. I don't know how much right or claim she has after throwing you off a cliff, though. Not terribly nurturing of her. And then Mystique goes, not very effective either.
Oh my fucking God!
And then they're all fighting. This whole comic is just they fight. They cut over, and Juggernaut's still fighting.
Oh my God, Squid Boy.
Still fighting Samuel Squid Boy's parents. And then Alpha Flight shows up.
Great.
And starts trying to Squid Boy's house to try to stop. I
want to get back to the messiness that is Azazel, Kurt, and fucking Mystique. Wasn't very effective. You bitch. Love her.
And so they cut back to Lorna.
Now we're going back to Lorna. Okay.
And they cut back, and Annie's quivering and hiding under a table. And Lorna goes, what's the matter, Annykins? Lose something under the table there? Your mind, maybe? And Charles goes over to Annie and she goes, God, it's all so real. I can still smell the blood. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then Lorna goes, for what, Annie? Stealing Alex? Hating mutants? Narrow it down here a little for me, would you? There's so many things you need to be sorry for.
Didn't like 2 seconds ago she said she was gonna be better and nicer?
She's such a cunt.
She's like.
Lorna has always been my favorite character, but reading this solidified that she is the best.
She's like, I'm going to be better. I've learned to change my ways, and I understand that what I've been doing is wrong. And then a second later, she's like, actually, you fucking bitch.
And then another mutant kid comes in and goes, where's Carter? He hasn't been to any of his classes and no one has seen him. And Annie goes, but I left him for his classes this morning. And they cut back to...
I forgot the kid was on the fucking island.
Yes. They cut back to the prison cells on the island. And Havoc just has Iceman's severed ice head.
Jesus Christ, Chuck Austen.
And I'm sorry. This part's insane.
Oh my god.
Carter, since he's a telepath, is reading Bobby's mind because Bobby can't talk; he doesn't have vocal cords.
Oh my gosh, so he's still alive?
Yes, he's still alive as a severed head.
Jesus Christ.
And they're pretty much like, he needs more water to turn back into Iceman.
He needs some milk.
And Havoc is like, I drank a lot of water today. I have probably enough piss to piss you in your body.
No, they're not, Connor, they're not gonna piss Iceman in your body.
Then they cut back to some more fighting between Sammy's family.
Connor.
Just wait. Just fucking wait.
They're not gonna do that.
Just fucking wait.
They're not gonna do that.
I will give you a little hint. Whatever you think's gonna happen with Iceman, not what you think.
Jesus Christ. I want to lay down on the floor. This is insane.
Then there's more fighting between all of the angels and demons. More explaining. Azazel does say that he is pretty much the biblical devil.
Okay. The devil from the Bible.
They're all fighting.
So Angel is an angel. It seems like what Chuck Austen writes is anybody with wings are angels.
Yes, so angel mutants have descended from what the Bible believes are as biblical angels.
Okay.
And then demon mutants have descended from what the Bible believes as mythical demons.
Got it. Silly, but got it.
And then they fight and fight and fight. They're arguing, and they try to teleport out of where they are. And Azazel's pretty much like, it took and killed a lot of mutants to get you here. Do you really think that just your teleporting powers are going to get you out?
Does it say why he made all the demon guys go there?
Because they're his family. They're his kids.
Oh. That was it?
And he's kind of been trapped there, so he wants to get out.
Oh, okay. So they're doing a ritual to get him out. Is what's happening. Got it. Okay.
And then they kind of don't really explain this, but Annie and Professor X and Lorna figure out that that Carter is with all of them on their mission. So they go to where the X-Men were, and it's just a big crater. And Charles is like, well, they're not dead. I can still feel them, but they're like not here, so they must be somewhere else. And Lorna goes, wait a minute, there's something here. It's a recent rip in the spatial fabric. I can see the magnetic lines of force spread apart and broken. I think I can open them. And then, while they're all talking, the Nightcrawler's brother who can create the portals, his portal opens, and you just see Lorna and Annie.
Oh my god.
And Charles just, Kurt, what's going on here? And then you see the point of view from Lorna and Charles and Annie's perspective, and they're all just standing there, and you see the guy whose stomach it is that the portal comes out, he just sticks his head down and goes, what the fuck? And Mystique goes, hey Azazel, what's going on with your kid's stomach? How come I can see Xavier?
Oh my god.
And Azazel freaks out because he wanted all of his family there, but he doesn't want them to leave. He wanted them for like his own selfish reasons. They cut back to more fighting between Juggernaut and the Alpha Flight and all of his family. And then this one demon lady comes, and she's going to start torturing the prisoner mutants. And this part's crazy. they're all fighting, and she can kind of manipulate her body so all the punches they're doing break off of her, and she starts crushing Husk and Carter's heads in.
Oh my god.
And she's gonna kill them. And they're
and
fighting.
Carter's a child?
And they're fighting, yes. And all of a sudden, she goes, ah, ah, and falls to the floor and kind of falls into pieces. And Iceman comes back, and he goes, thanks for the offer, guys, but I found my water somewhere else.
What the fuck?
He drained this woman of her body of water, killing her, saving them all, and turning back into Iceman.
What the fuck is this? Chuck! You have me crazy.
Then Nightcrawler and his brother run and hide and try to find all the other mutants. And through the guy's portal stomach, Lorna pops out with her head. Her whole head just pops out of this guy's stomach, and she goes, mind if I get a rep? And she goes, so what's going on, Fuzzy Doo? You want to come back to the side of the Dimensional Rip or what? And she finds a way to suck everything into the guy's stomach. All of the X-Men come back. A couple of demons come back too. And that's pretty much it. They get out. They get back that from Lorna opening the portal in the stomach. And that's pretty much it on the Draco. That's how it
That
ends.
was a very confusing comic.
It jumps. I should have written a better definition and just gone over it all instead of jumping back and forth. But
this
it was
one's
insane.
Gonna be easier to understand. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So there's so many insane things. My favorite was the little opening with Mystique being a fucking crazy bitch.
Just being a troll for no reason.
I'm excited for this one. This one, She's Live with Angels. This one's going to be a little easier to explain, a little easier to understand. Okay. So please bear with us. I hope this is going to be more coherent a little bit, just because that one's crazy, but it is very fun. This one, great. So this is called She Lies with Angels, which, again, sounds like a Hosier song, which I want you to take that, and I want you to stick a pin in it. I want you to remember that.
Okay.
There's a reason. And I will say, I always thought it sounds like a Hosier song, but then when I read this, I was like, oh, fuck, like, okay, stick a pin in it.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Get ready, gang. This one's fun. Oh, love it. Okay, so we start off in Kentucky, like a little hometown. Yes. You just start with some kids kind of talking, and you can tell they're talking shit about a family called the Cabot family. They're important. Okay. And they're just kind of like shooting shit. It's this little white kid, this little black kid. Their races are important, unfortunately. And they're kind of talking shit about this one family. One of the kids, I'm not gonna like bury the lead, is Husk's brother. Okay. Husk is very important in this one, and I want to explain who Husk is real quick. She like pulls off her skin and has like a different body underneath, like stone, a different transformation form. And it's horrible, and I hate it every time.
I will say, Husk is one of my favorite X-Men. I bought this comic because I knew it was about Husk. I didn't know much about it. I know a couple things that happened in it, but I bought it because it was Husk-centric. And I still haven't read it, and I'm really glad I didn't because I can't wait to hear
Get ready. Okay, so Husk's brother's talking to these kids, and they're like kind of talking shit about the Cabot family. Honestly, nothing too extreme, but then the Cabot family, and they're like, "You're a freak because your family's all mutants." And then they're pretty much are like, "You're a freak because your family mutants, and you're a freak because you're black." There is racism in this, and like. There's the Cabot family in it, like they're surrounded by adults, one of who is a cop who just does not give any fucks about what's happening here, and they start kind of fighting the kids, and one of the Cabot kids, punches the Husk's brother. Okay. And he's like, the guy's like, your family's mutants. He's like, well, guess what? I'm also a mutant, and he laser beam, he electrocute laser beam the kid, electrocutes him.
So he shoots eye laser beams.
Yeah, but they're like electricity.
They're
like lightning.
Okay.
It's like lightning. He like electrocutes him, and the cop then. Oh, remember the kid did like punch him, and the cop then is like, "Stop! Don't do that!" Because the cop sucks, and the other kids are like, "Woohoo! Get him!" And the family comes. The kids like on like blue flame lightning. And one of the Cabot family comes and hits Husk's brother with a crowbar in the back of the head.
Oh no, not my boy. I already love him.
And the cop, so a fight ensues, and the cop's just like, everybody stop, but mostly like, the kid stop. And the cop shoots Husk's brother.
Oh no.
He fucking shoots him, and Husk's brother, I don't remember his name, sorry guys.
That's fine. Husk's brother's fine.
He's barely in it. He explodes a car because of everything happening, so a car explodes.
I will preface this. Husk has like 8 siblings.
Yes.
And all but one of them are canonical mutants.
Yeah. So he gets shot, and then we hard cut to Xavier's school, and Husk wants to talk to Angel because they're like flirty with each other.
Okay.
And we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this when things are revealed because this is inappropriate, highly inappropriate. Get ready. So she's just kind of talking to him, and she's like, "Why do you ignore me? Why, like, do you just not want to be with me? Do you not want to like talk to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, leave me alone." And she's like, "Fine." Like they're like mad about it, and she's like really upset. And then Jubilee is like, "Hey, you got a call," and she's kind of like, "I don't want to deal with it." And they're like, "Your brother got shot." And so Angel and Husk go to Kentucky.
Okay.
The brother is fine. He's in bed, and in the house with them is the cop who shot him, the African American kid and his dad.
Okay.
And all of the million of children, kids, and then Angel
Lucinda
and
Guthrie's
Husk.
cult, yeah.
Yeah, the Guthrie's cult, yes. And Lucinda, the mother, she's pissed. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they're like, "They started it, and they're racist and bigoted." And she's like, "I know that, but like, we can't be doing this," kind of. And she's mad. She's like pissed off and has every right to be. And then the kid is like, "Well, I honed in my powers, so I knew nothing really bad was going to happen to him." So that he just, like, admitted that it was, like...
Premeditated.
And so the cop's like, "Well, now you're in more trouble than you were going to be." And he's like, "All of you are banished from the town. Like, you can't go to the town anymore." And Lucinda rightfully is like, "What the fuck, dude?" His name's Pete. Like, "What the fuck, Pete?" And he's like, "I gotta do it, Lucinda." And she's like, "No, you fucking don't." He's like, "Yeah, I do." And he's kind of mad about it. He's like, "You guys are retaliating constantly. You just have to deal with it." And they're all mad about it. And you know what? He does have a kind of point about it being premeditated. Husk asks where the oldest brother is. Yeah. He's like a year younger than Husk. And they said, "Oh, he's out on like a date. He's out with like Rosalinda." Rosalinda's not important. Don't worry about her. He's like out doing like a gig, like a show. He'll be home soon, whatever. So then that's when we cut to the best part of this book, which is, so Josh, the brother, is on stage. He has no shirt on, and he has these big red wings.
A king. I love him.
And everybody, it's like a very, very small show. It's like a restaurant, and he's just like singing on stage, so it's like very up close and personal. And it's being narrated by Julie, one of the servers. There's a server, Rosalina, and Julie. And Rosalina is like, "He's singing to me," because we're kind of seeing each other. And the whole time, Julie is like, "I hope he's singing to me. He's so beautiful and wonderful. I hope he's singing to me. Oh, he's looking over here." And of course, the whole time Rosalina's like, "He's looking at me," because we're kind of dating. And Julie's like, "I wish he's looking at me." And Rosalinda's like, he wants me to come meet him after the show, and I told him no because I wanted to leave him wanting more. And Julie's like, I'm gonna go see him because he's so wonderful and to read me.
Rosalinda.
Yeah, fuck
Girl code, I guess.
Fuck Rosalinda. They don't give a shit about her. But literally, I'm gonna read one of those things. It just says, it's Julie's inner monologue. She goes, he's looking at me. And Rosalinda says out loud, why he's singing the song to me? And Julie, in her mind, says, and he's singing the song to me. Please, God, let him be singing this song to me.
Oh, my God.
Connor, get ready. So, we're back to Husk and her family. And one of the children are like, hey, outside is the gun trees, and they have fucking guns. And Lucinda, the mom, is like, go get my shotgun, go get my gun. And of course the cop's like, no, don't do this. Even though, like, dude, they're out on her property, which is what she says. They have the artillery. What the fuck? And he's like, I'm protecting your kid, like, lightning to my kid. And he's like, you didn't do nothing, whatever. They both have the guns in their face. The cop is trying to, like, calm them down, but it's definitely one-sided kind of towards Lucinda. And
like
so
on
she's
her side
getting
Lucinda, or
no,
Lucinda?
like he's obviously kind of placating to the guy, to the cobots, kind of being a little bitch about it.
Okay.
And he's like, stop this nonsense. She's like, hey, like, he's the one. And then she does make a good point. She's like, he's like in between them. She has this gun out. She's like, you did shoot my kid. So it's like, it is a bad place for you to be, cop man.
Yeah.
Hard cut back to the song. Julie is like, he's beautiful, he's perfect. She's thirsting over him so much. This is when Rosalinda is like, I'm not going to go see him. And she decides she has to go. And she's like, in her inner monologue, Julie says, am I in imagination, or does he really remember me? It's very Bella-coded, honestly. Before Twilight happened, it feels a lot like Bella. I could stand here forever and believe he's singing about me, about us, but God rarely has been so kind to me. So she goes in there, and she's like, oh, Rosalinda sent me. And she goes in there, and she's like, oh my God, your wings are real. And let me remind you, this is a small, intimate club. Yeah. And I think the wings were, like, moving at points. Like, he had his shirt off, and then they, like, flare out. Are they fucking stupid? You cannot tell me that they do not know that these wings are real. And here's another thing, too. She says, and she's a little thirsty, so who knows if this is actually happening, but she does say that when he sings, it sounds like there's multiple voices, like it's a choir of angels singing, and it's so beautiful and wonderful. So I'm like, this bitch, there's no fucking way she did not know that he was a goddamn mutant. She's the biggest idiot on the planet. So then we hard cut back to this mess with the gun trees and...
The Guthries.
The Guthries. I'm so sorry.
The Guthries.
The Guthries.
Please just imagine a roast bush with a AK-47, please.
The gun tree.
The gun tree.
The Guthries.
The Giving Tree's badass cousin.
And Husk's family. What's her last name?
Who, Husk?
Husk, yeah.
Paige Guthrie.
Oh, yeah, so it's between the Guthries and... Oh, sorry, the Guthries and the Cobots. It's just kind of a pain in the ass to keep together. We need to keep them together. Cobots bad, Guthries good. Mutant people, we love them. So, the cops trying to de-escalate the situation. The Cobot guy is like, you're only doing this because you like Lucinda, he says to the cop. He's like, you have the hots for Lucinda, and that's why you're not letting me, like, shoot them all, pretty much. And that's when he tries to shoot them, and Angel comes and, like, takes their ass, and Husk comes and kicks their ass. And they just all leave. The cop is like, you guys are arrested. He arrests the Cobots.
Okay.
And they're like, what the fuck? Like, why are you arresting us? And he's like, I'm gonna arrest you. Fucking get out. Everybody leave. Get out. Hard cut back to Josh and Julie. This is when shit gets crazy. So, it's Josh and Julie and the bandmate who's like Josh's friend, and the bandmates say like, "Hey, you can't fucking be back here," and he's like, "It's okay. She's not gonna tell anyone that I'm a mutant." And he's like, "You're not gonna tell anyone, Julia?" And she's like, "You remember me?" He's like, "I could never forget you." They're both madly in love with each other, Connor. And they're like, I could never forget you either. They're about to kiss, and the guy is like, "Whoa, what the heck's happening here?" And Josh says, "She's the first woman I ever saw naked." And what? Julia says, "Come on, Josh, that was like 10 years ago. I was like 10, and I was like, whoa, straight to jail."
You want to see even crazier?
Straight to jail.
In other comics, Josh is like canonically like 14 to 16.
Listen to this. Okay, yeah, just listen to this. So he's like, in this, they're 18. They're both 18.
Okay.
So he's like...
Because he's in like the high school era.
Okay, no, he's 18 in this. Him and Julie are both 18. But remember, he did see her naked when she was 10 and he was 10. And this is 8 years later. Okay. And they have remembered each other and been madly in love with each other the entire 8 years. Okay. That's important. So when he says she was the first one he ever saw naked, the bandmate is like, "Well, this sounds intriguing," which again, straight to jail. And she's like, "Oh, it was innocent." Okay. So she explains that she would go skinny dipping and he like would watch her.
Ugh.
Straight to jail. And then he would like throw rocks at her because he didn't want her to be at the lake. And then they would like, he's like, she wouldn't leave. And then we fell in love as 10-year-olds because that's what 10-year-olds do. And they spent the whole summer together. And he's like, "I wouldn't throw rocks at you now. I wouldn't throw anything at you. We would just hang out. I love you," pretty much. It's crazy. He's like, "Oh, it's entirely innocent. We had such a good time." They keep getting so close to kissing. And he holds her hand. He's like, "You're trembling." And she's like, "Am I?" Like, I'm going to read this. I'm just a little caught off guard. "It's nice you have a sweet hand. The hand of an angel."
Oh, I wish you could
hear
my eye rolls.
And then he says, "How about my lips? Would it be too weird for me to kiss your hand after all this time?" I don't know. They're nice lips. I didn't realize how much I missed you. Me either. But then I saw you there, watching me from the room from afar. And I felt whole again, not even knowing I had never been complete." That's what this whole book is like.
I love Chuck Austen's dialogue. He writes some zingers. He writes the cringiest romance.
This is full of cringy romance. Okay.
I love it. I can't wait to read this.
Julia's grandma comes in, and you find out, she's a cobot. She's part of the bad guys, and she's like, "You're a Gunther." It's fucking Romeo and Juliet, Connor.
Oh, I love that.
And the grandma's like, "You need to get out of here. Your father would kill you." So she leaves, and the grandma's like, "You need to come out. Like, there's a problem with your brother. Like, what? We gotta go home, whatever." And then we smash cut back to the cop talking to Lucinda, and he's like, "I'm trying to help you do the right thing. I'm on your side, whatever." And then he kind of is like, "Will you go out with me?" And she's like, "No."
The cop to Lucinda?
The cop to Lucinda is like, "Go out with me.
Get the bad girl."
And she's like, "No." And he has his hand on her. She's like, "Get off of me." She's like, "Not." She's like, and she again says, "You shot my son." And he's kind of just like, "You owe me. I was so nice to you." And she's like, "Get out of here." And so he leaves. And then we shoot back. There is some shooting back and forth, but it's only 2 storylines. And then we shoot back to Josh with his bandmate in the car. They're in like a truck. And he's just talking about how much he loves Julie. And he's like, he's always loved her. No one's ever compared to her. That one girl that he knew one summer when he was 10 and she was 10. it was the most magical, wonderful being of their lives, and he can never stop thinking about her, and neither can she, and they love each other. And so his bandmate is like, get out, go see her. Fly to her. Fly to her. He says, open your wings and fly to her. And he's like, I will. I'm in love. It's very much like that Mystique, which she's like, I'm in love. It's very much like that, except, like, again, these people are 18, and they fell in love when they were 10 because he saw her naked one time. And remember, they are 10, and it's been 8 years. So then it goes to the Cabot mansion. They're apparently rich.
Okay.
And the cop shows up to their house, and they are like, you keep fucking shit up. We went there to try to, like, kill them all, pretty much. He's like, we went there, and you were supposed to, like, let us kill them. And he was like, I couldn't, because I didn't know that, like, the X-men were gonna, like, that Angel was gonna be there, and obviously, like, you can't kill them all. And then they're like, well, we tried poisoning them, but it only killed Husk's dad. Like, it only killed the dad.
Oh my god.
So they have murdered the dad. And
you know what's crazy about this? In the old comics, Husk's dad dies in a mine accident and explodes.
No, in this, he was murdered they don't know that he was murdered by them. They just think that he died.
Yeah, but like, he passed out of the mine because, like, fumes and shit. And Husk's older brother had to cannonball fly out of the mine because it was collapsing, and a bunch of miners died. That's insane.
So just real quick, it does show that, like, it's like he comes back and forth for things. So I'm just gonna say real quick, Angel calls all of the X-Men there just to, like, chill out. It really doesn't seem like they're needed, but they're just chilling in their barn now. And then it goes back to the cop talking to the Gundry, the Cobots, and he's like, the cop is like, I understand that mutants are secondhand citizens, but you can't, it's still illegal to kill them. And, which is crazy. This whole thing is crazy. And they're also, they do have some other, like, not even just racism towards the mutants, they also have racism towards the black people. They're also bad.
I will say that none of the Guthrie parents aren't mutants, and the oldest son didn't manifest his mutant powers until right when his dad died, so they didn't know they were mutants. They must have just hated them for other reasons.
Yeah, I think classism gets part in here too. It's crazy. So the Cobots bring the sheriff Pete to this facility where they're making, like, armored suits. So they have these armored suits now, and that's important. So then it cuts to Julie, and she's like, oh my god, to her brother, like, what happened? And he's like, look, he electrocuted me. And she's like, you can't barely see anything, like, you don't look hurt. And he's like, it still happened. And she's like, nothing's wrong with you. And she goes to her room and she's all upset because she's, like, in love. Remember, she's in love, Connor, this boy that she, again, saw for 5 minutes, reinvigorated that she was in love with him ever since she was 10, and it's been 8 years, and her grandma comes in her room. Grandma comes in the room, and the grandma's like, can you speak to me? I'm going to read some more because this is crazy. I'm going to read so much of, like, this shit because it's insane. Wait. I remembered every moment with him, Grandma, every look, every laugh, every accidental touch. Oh. And I never dared dream that he would remember me too, but he did. And he sang to me. I realize now that I fell in love with him, and I fell in love with him at 10. Which, crazy. And I've never fallen out, even when Daddy sent me away to boarding school. I was miserable for missing him. And that has, like, a little comic panel of them, like, as at 10, being in love. Crazy. She's like, and the family hates him. It's very Romeo and Juliet. And she's like, that's okay. Just, like, deal with it, kind of. And the grandma's like, they're mutants. And he's like, she says, like, we hate them because they're mutants. She goes, that's not a reason. That's an excuse. An excuse to turn inner pain into anger and focus on someone other than yourself. An excuse for those who own an adequacy is so immense that they can only feel less deficient and dominating or controlling others. that must be categorized as beneath them. She has very much like 16-year-old like.
But Daddy, I love you.
Yeah, it's so much like that. It's crazy. And then she's like, the grandma's like, but they've done stuff to us. The things they've done to us. She's like, it's only what anyone would do in their position, kind of. Which, you know what? That it is fair.
Yeah.
And the grandma is like, oh my God. And Julie's like, what are you looking at? And it's fucking Josh flying into her fucking window like a fucking creep. And then we go back to, we get out of this wonderful magicalness of this perfect plot, and we go back to the other perfect plot of the Guthries and the Guthries, and Husk is talking to her mom, and Husk is like, I love Angel, I love him, and...
I will say, theater of the mind. All of the Guthries have thick Kentucky accents.
Yeah, I'm not
it's like, I love him.
I love him.
You just gotta remember that.
And they talk a little bit about Josh. Like, where's Josh? Because they was like, hey, he's probably out with Rosalinda, which he's not.
Yeah.
He's lusting after this girl he knew when he was 10. And about the accent, they even talk about how Husk tried to, like, kill her accent to be more, like, worldly or whatever. And then her mom's like, you love Angel, don't you? And she's like, it doesn't matter. He doesn't love me. He doesn't want to be with me. And then it just shows Angel in the barn with the other X-Men, and they're just kind of like, thanks for being here. And then Logan like says something, and then Angel just apologizes to him for like being a dick all the time. Which is funny that it's in there. And then you see the Cobots getting this, like, heavy armor. And they're, like, gonna get ready to kill them all. That's, like, their big plan. We go back to Julie, the best scene with Julie and Josh.
Your girl, Julie.
My girl, Julie. She's like, how'd you find me, even at night? Here it is, Connor. I followed the light you radiate. There was so much...
I wish you just went, bitch, I know where you live. This is a small town. You live in a mansion.
There was so much like the birds were singing as I flew here, confused by your brilliance to thinking the sun had already risen. And the grandma's like, oh, damn. Like, she's like impressed by it. And he's like, say something, my angel. Tell me you thought of me warmly as intently as I thought of you in these last few years. As warmly as intently as I think of you now. If this happened to me,
these lines go hard. If someone says to me, my panties would be on the floor.
I think even my own
if a little winged twink was like, hey, I followed the heavenly angel bird song that led me to your window, I'd be like, whoa. That's the sounds of my panties hitting the floor. God, I love that romantic, like, mushy bullshit.
She's like, Josh, I'm so enthralled and in love and scared. And he's like, don't be scared. Come with me. He's like, your family hates me and my family hates you. But hate is a choice, but love. You can't convince yourself out of love. We're in love. And she's like, we are in love. She's like, I love you, and I've always loved you. Remember, they're 18,
yeah.
And they were 10 when they met, and they just met each other again for 2 minutes. And they kiss, and the grandma's like, oh my, and that passes out.
Who passes out? The
grandma?
Okay.
Which makes Julie be like, you should probably go, and Josh is like, but I want to be with you. Come with me now.
Leave your dead grandma.
Leave your grandma on the floor. Who fucking cares? Jump out the window with me. I'll fly you. We're in love and we're 18 and this makes sense.
I can't wait.
I saw you naked when you were 10. I was 10. It's not weird at all. No one's saying it's weird, Chuck Austen. No one's saying it's weird. I'm so glad that it's super cool that you wrote that in there. It's super cool and normal.
Oh man.
Okay, then we get another perfect scene where there's some more with the Cobots going to go with like they're talking to the sheriff about how they're, like, going to commit murder, and the sheriff's like, cool. Even though it is kind of clear that he does want to fuck Lucinda, which, again, is crazy. But then, Angel goes to, like, the kitchen for whatever reason. I don't know, I guess he just want to sleep in the barn with everybody else. And Lucinda's like, I need to talk to you. Which is, like, not a thing.
Wing woman Lucinda.
Yeah, and it's, like, not a thing that you want to hear from, like, your crush's mom. It's crazy. She's like, I need to talk to you. God, we keep skipping. We skip back to Josh, and Josh is like, come with me. He tries to pull her out the fucking window, and she's like, I can't. I want to, because again, we're in love, and this is totally cool and normal, but I can't because of my family. Here he says, forget your father, forget your name, very Romeo and Juliet. I feel like I've waited my entire life for this moment, for this time to be with you, to be a part of me, and I didn't know what I was missing. Please don't leave me unfulfilled in this, Julia, incomplete, unwhole. She said, I don't want to, but I've never wanted anything more in my life than to give you everything you ever asked for, but please, you have to leave. If my family finds you here, they'll kill you, and that would kill me. I would rather die at their hands with you loving me than face the horror of a life without you beside me. Poetry, beautiful.
Honestly, the writing is insanely fun.
I'll go, Julia, but only because I don't want to make you suffer. But at least reassure me that you feel as I do, that you haven't withdrawn your love for me. And she goes, tomorrow, I'll be with you tomorrow morning at sunrise in our place and prove to you that I feel the same as you. That I will always feel the same as you. And he flies away. And she goes to her grandma. And her grandma's like, I've never heard anything more beautiful in my life. Every adult in here is fucking crazy. Every adult is like, love is great, no matter how fucked up and weird it is. Because again, every adult in this knows how normal and cool this is, Chuck Austen. Thank you for writing this as normal and cool and not weird. Thank you for writing this way. The adults in it are right. The grandma's like, she says, I'm going to read this. Go to him now, because if you don't marry him, I will. Wonderful! Ugh. More of the dad just talking to the sheriff about how he's going to kill them.
Okay. Julie
goes to the lake, which Josh is already there, and he's like, I knew you would come. I knew you would come 2 minutes after I said to meet me here. And she's like, oh, I love you. Forever is not long enough. We have to start now. And they start kissing. And they fucking. So then we go to, oh my god, okay, we go to Lucinda talking to Angel, and she's like, you love my daughter Paige, don't you? And he's like, I can't say anything. And this is where we get Connor. This is where we get a confirmed age of both of these characters. Angel, his age is not said, but I know it's said in a different comic.
And in the Draco, they say he's about 30, 35.
So we have a 30, 35-year-old. The mother says, her mother, remember, this is her mother. She says,
Woman of the Year.
What? Mother of the fucking year, because again, all of this is normal. Thank you, Chuck Austen. She says, is it the age difference that bothers you? Because it doesn't bother me. It's okay. Paige is 19. She's fucking 19 in this. She's fucking 19, and he's 30 to 35. She is 19. Again, normal and cool and fun. Thank you, Chuck, for writing this totally normal and not problematic thing at all. To his credit, Angel does say, it kind of concerns me, but, like, isn't worried, really. Okay. It doesn't really concern him. I think it's just so that the police can stop going, like, woo-woo. Literally, this scene made me feel like the scene in Transformers. Like, I thought they were going to, like, pull out a laminated card to, like, say how cool and normal it was and how it was okay that they were dating and it would be fine. Because of how everyone's on board with it. But Angel says his hang-up. This is his hang-up, is on a mission, Paige died.
Yes.
And he brought her back with his powers, with his healing blood. But he loves her so much and is so in love with her. And he only brought her on the mission because he's attracted to her. So it's pretty much like, just wait.
Okay.
He pretty much looked at this woman's mother and is like, I want to fuck this girl so bad that I brought her into a dangerous mission where she died and I had to bring her back to life. And now I am so appalled and upset about that I cannot dare fuck her and date her because I cannot do that.
So I will say that the mission where she dies, he faints and passes out on her and his blood just seeps into her body and heals her. He doesn't like give her a blood transfusion or anything. It's just kind of like a weird, I lay on you and I bleed into your blood.
Right. I figured.
I figured something weird.
And then while he's saying this, and he does say, I love her so much, and I can't. Paige is listening. So we skip back to Josh and Julie. It's now morning time, so they have fucked. They're like kissing and cuddling. It's kind of cute, except remember they're 18.
They're 18.
Fell in love when they were 10. It's insane. The father comes up in the suit. The dad comes up in the
Met suit?
Yeah, he comes in the Met suit, and he's like, I could never be so disgusted in my life. You're so horrible. And he's like, get in the car, Julie. And she's like, no. And he's like, the dad is like, he forced himself on you. And she's like, no, he didn't. And he's like, well, that's what we're going to tell the town, which is crazy. And she's like, no, I love him and I wanted him to. She's like, I want him to fuck me, Dad. I want him to. And he slaps her in the mech suit, which, like, almost kills her because it's a mech suit.
Yeah.
He, like, slaps her. And so Josh is, like, holding her. He's, like, so upset. And the dad's like, don't touch her. And he's like, I just want to make sure she's okay. And he's like, I'm going to kill you. And then we go back to Angel getting confronted by Paige. And I do have to just say, because this made me feel crazy. Josh says, just the way this is written too, which again we love. I do love it. He says, Julie, honey, please be alright. And the very next page, Husk is like confronting Angel, and he goes, Paige, honey, don't be angry. And I'm like, why are they both? It was just weird that they were both like, honey. Like right after the other. It was just weird to me, but that was a big thing. But so she's like, I am mad. And she's like, one, why the fuck are you talking to my mom about this? Which again, her mom did initiate the conversation, but I do understand the anger. He follows her out, and they're all mad, and he's like, I can't do this, like, I love you, and I can't watch you die, because I love you, and I don't want you to die. And she says, she fucking says, look, Lauren, like, you're not, like, a replacement father figure to me. You don't have to protect me. I'm like, crazy choice of words for someone you want to have sex with, Paige. Crazy choice of words. Never once in my life would I ever look at my husband and be like, don't try to be my dad. I'd be like, that would never cross my fucking mind. And if it does, don't date them, ma'am. So she literally throws in his face that, like, his last girlfriend, Betsy, who is Betsy Braddock.
Psylocke, yeah.
It doesn't, we're not going to get into her, but she's like, this is why Betsy stopped loving you. And all the X-Men come out. So, like, you need to understand, in this scene, who are watching this unfold is all the X-Men and Paige's mom. And she's like, this is why Betsy stopped loving you. And they're like, damn. And then he's like, I know, and Betsy always ran away from things that were hard, but you don't. You face head on. You face me head on, and you challenge me, and that's why I love you, and that's why I need you, and like, be with me. I love you. Everyone's in love, Connor. Everybody's in love in this. Everybody loves each other so much, and he kisses her, and he holds her tight, and they fly up into the air. They float up in the air, and they're in love, Connor.
How romantic! Nothing worse could happen from there.
The worst thing that ever happens. Because you just see, like, they're looking up the X-Men, Logan and Polaris and her mother all looking up at them. Like, oh, how beautiful. And then fucking Paige's nightgown, 19-year-old, comes off and they're fucking in the sky in front of them, in front of their coworkers.
And their mom.
And her mom's like, I don't need to see this. And I'm like, What is happening?
You need to see my daughter get slam fucked in the sky
Again,
by a 35-year-old.
Again, Chuck Austen, a totally cool and normal thing.
A normal
that you
thing
wrote
to do,
in
did
here.
nothing wrong. This is great, we love it.
Thank you for writing this totally cool and normal book. I love it. Logan, catches her nightgown. I'm like, don't touch it. Nobody touch it. Everybody walk away. I think if I was at work and someone just started fucking in the middle of the fucking office.
If someone got on one of those sky rises
and
just started fucking...
I would leave. I would be like, oh, let me touch your clothes. Fucking get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there, you freaks.
Yeah.
And they're all weirdly cool with it. Again, she's 19, he's 35. Dun dun, straight to jail. It's crazy. Then we get a break from that.
Oh, of course. Good.
And we go back to Josh, who's getting his fucking ass fucking kicked. So the dad's like, I'm gonna kill you. I hate you. You can hear, they hear commotion, like the X-Men hear commotion, so Polaris goes over there. And then Lucinda goes back into the house because her daughter's getting fucked in the sky outside. She doesn't want to see it. And she sees that their friend is still there, who was the African-American guy. And out of nowhere, they're like, you're so perfect, and I love you. And he's like, and I love you too. And I'm like, kiss? Because everyone's in love. Lucinda.
Oh, Lucinda. I thought it was Polaris at first. I was like, that's a Polaris
No, I'm so sorry. His name's Ray. Okay. I guess she didn't know that he stayed and watched all the millions of children. His child and then her million kids. And she's just like, I love you. And it was never clear that they were ever dating before this, but he's just like, we're in love also, because everyone's in love in this book. And so they go, the cop shows up, and he's like, hey, I just want to warn you that they're coming to kill you. And then he sees her holding hands with Ray, who's the African-American guy, and he's like, he's just like, I could have been fine with all your
race traitor.
But exactly. And he's really racist that she's dating this black man.
Oh my god, that's insane.
And he's just like, how dare you?
How southern do you have to be to be like, I'm okay with your son shooting lightning bolts out of his eyes, but a black man?
Black man? I'm fine with the laser beams, but this is where I cross the line. This is where the line is crossed. I'm glad they're trying to kill you and they killed your husband. Then we shoot back to Josh, and Polaris is so good. Polaris is like, I'm so glad these are made out of metal, for me to get. And he goes, oh, it's not metal, it's carbon, it's carbon. And they just shoot her out of the sky. And she's like, God. She just gets shot out of the fucking sky and is done.
God, I love that.
Julie wakes up, and he's like, take her to the hospital, and they're like, no. And he shoots Joshua. He shoots him. And they're like, you know what, let's just get the fuck out of here. Ignore Julie. We have other mutants to kill. We have other things to do. There's also now a white woman dating a black guy. We gotta go fucking kill them all. And Julie sees him, and she's like, no, because they're in love, and it's normal and good. And he's like, she's gonna thank me for this one day. So then we go back to this, with Lucinda and Ray, and Nightcrawler's there. And then Pete, the cop, who Lucinda the whole time was like, fuck you, don't come near me, I hate you. He's like, how could you do this to me? I came here to save you, how could you do this? And Ray is wonderful, who again, he's showed up in the comic book 2 times. He's like, get back behind me, I'm gonna protect you. And they're trying to get the cop to calm the fuck down, but now he's like, fuck you guys, you're an X-Men, you're a mutant freak, I'm gonna kill all of you. Let me say, this is what he says. Fucking the cop, I need to read this. The cop says, what's going on, Lucinda, what's going on? You live in a freak show, you know that? You live in a freak show, and I want to take you away from all that. I wanted to love you. Everyone loves everyone in this. So he goes, Pete, listen. He goes, but you wouldn't let me. You pushed me away and away and away. And for what? For him? For a black man? Oh, no. I could forgive you for
I will just say thank you, Chuck, for not using the N-word.
Yeah, thank God. That
would have been easy to happen in 2003.
Yeah, thank God. He draws the line. A 19-year-old, 35-year-old is fine. This 10-year-old relationship, these 10-year-olds that saw each other naked and were cool with it and love it and they are in love. That's totally fine. He draws the line at slurs and I'm happy for that. Racism is fine, but the slurs, no. Again, just we love you. We know you're listening. We love you. Because this is a fun time.
This is a great time.
Pete says, I could forgive you for almost anything, Lucinda. It's not your fault you gave birth to a bunch of freaks. But then to have them in your home and welcome them and to lie with him voluntarily.
Oh
no
God.
one said they fucked yet. No one said they fucked. But again, out of nowhere, they're in love. Remember, everyone's in love. And he goes, and you made me look stupid in the process. Which again, no one's there. I don't understand. All of a sudden, there was a whole lot riding on Sheriff Pete and this relationship, which again, he was plotting with the other people to kill her and all of her children. And her husband. So Nightcrawler, punches him in the face. And Lucinda's daughter comes out and she's like, hey, more people are coming with big mech suits. No one is really that worried in this. We flash over to Husk and Angel fucking in the sky, and she's like, oh my gosh, he's like, things have escalated. These people are coming in these big suits. And then, this is the best line, he's like, whoa, Paige, you're getting heavy. And she's like, yeah, that's what happens when I turn into stone. And pulls off her little nasty skin.
God, I love Husk.
And they fall in the sky.
Also, what a thing to say to a woman, gosh, Paige, you're getting heavy.
Right. She's like, it's not that I'm getting fat, it's my mutant powers, and it's wonderful.
Me too.
The same.
No one can stop the blob.
This is what happens when you turn to stone. Me. So they're fighting. There's just some fights. Logan goes and finds Polaris. Lucinda's like, because these are two different places. Logan is with Polaris with Josh and Julie.
Okay.
Josh is dead. Everybody else is in their house, the front yard of their house. Mm-hmm. And Lucinda's telling Ray to protect the kids, all the kids. So all the kids and Ray are getting in this car with Nightcrawler. Polaris is fine, but she did get shot out of the sky. They find Joshua and Julie are there. Joshua's dead, remember. This is important. I think Polaris and Logan are just kind of chilling in the forest. They don't do anything. They just chill in the forest. I don't even think they see them yet. I don't think that they really care, honestly. Which they should, because this crazy shit just about to happen, and honestly they should have stopped this. But this was what happens. Julie's sad that he's dead. She picks up his body. Don't look at the comment.
I will.
Because I need to explain this. She picks up his body. And she walks into the lake. And she kisses him and floats down.
She sinks.
And her and Josh sink into the lake. And she just cradles him. Drowning in the lake. And then it cuts to Lucinda and Ray, who again they're all in love, everyone's in love. Husk and Angel politely took a break from fucking in the sky
How nice of them.
to try to kill these fucking guys. And the kids and Ray are in the cop car, and the guy's about to kill them. And Lucinda gets in front, in between the car and the guy in this big mech suit, mm-hmm. the dad. And she's like, kill me. You can have me. Leave my kids out of this. Kill me and we're good. It's fine. And he's just kind of fuck you, Lucinda. And he shoots a rocket to the car.
Oh, no.
But
28 kids.
Or 1 million kids. But then we skip to the river with Julie and Josh. Julie, remember, is drowned in the river. Mm-hmm. She's holding on to Josh. And all of a sudden, his little chest wound closes up. He heals. And he sees her and him in the lake. And he shoots up out of the lake. And he's like, Julia, don't be dead. And she's just dead. And he's like,
no!
Why? He
Julia!
screams, why? And again, I want to make this clear. He just is like, don't be dead. And then he, cries over her and screams, why? No CPR, no resuscitation was tried.
Huh.
It was not tried.
Why?
Just sobbing. Sobbing was the only thing that happened. Because we do come back to this, so put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that.
And so the car's destroyed, and Lucinda's like, why would you do this? And he's like, because they were yours.
Me when I eat my husband's fries. Why would you do this? Because they were yours.
And then Pete comes back, the cop comes back, and he's like... The dad opens up the armor to like look at Lucinda and like be like, ha 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 ha. And that's when
Got him.
That's when the cop jumps up and puts his little gun by his head. And the cop shoots him as the guy simultaneously shoots the cop. So they both kill each other. So he shoots him in the head, and then he shoots the cop. So the cap's dying. And as he dies, he's like, will you go out with me?
Will you stop dating this black man, please?
And then, remember, the black man was in the car that it got exploded.
Oh, okay.
So Ray and all the kids were in the car. And then you see Nightcrawler with all the children. And she's like, Kurt, my babies. And he's like, she goes, good old teleporting Kurt. Paige told me so good. And what a good friend you are to her. And then he was like, I couldn't.
No!
Remember these were Ray! R.I.P. your real one.
So many people are dying in this comic.
He
oh
dies.
My god.
Yeah, she's like, oh no. They're kind of like, dang. Like, they're just kind of like, that fucking sucks. So there was 3 people in mech suits, and they just kind of fuck off. They're like, this was bad, and they leave. And, they get stopped by Polaris and Wolverine. And they're like, we're gonna kill you. And I think they just, like, take the armor.
They probably killed them. Polaris and Wolverine, those are the 2 X-Men that you don't want to be the ones that find you.
Speaking of finding, Angel finds Josh. He flies over to Josh. I'm just gonna read this.
Okay.
Angel says, Josh? And Josh says, please, God, please. And he goes, I can't seem to do it. You would like to believe that he's like doing chest compression and trying to bring her back, and he just can't. He goes, I can't seem to make it work. I can't. He goes, make what work? Oh no. He's repeatedly stabbing himself in the chest trying to but he keeps healing.
Oh, king shit.
So
amazing.
Again, instead,
I can't get the cap off.
Yes, it's so much like that. So instead of again, we're not trying to make light of suicide or anything, but like this is just so silly and insane that it's awful. Okay, I guess. And he's just like, please help me, I need to die, and he can't live without Julia. Which, remember, I'm not even going to say this totally normal, nice relationship. So he's like so sad and so upset that Julia died. Which again, he didn't really try to save her all that much. I don't know if someone drowned in front of me that I love, like if Ryan, my husband, drowned in front of me, I think my first step would be CPR.
Yeah.
Second step would be killing myself. But first would be trying to save him first.
Yeah.
I would kill myself.
At least you got a different step one.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Quinn will kill herself.
Put it in the comments as we're talking. Because we trigger warned after all the
Avengers Endgame title. Instead of Hawkeye will return, it says Quinn will kill herself.
Jesus Christ. You have to put a trigger warning in the comments because we're making very fun of this. Please don't cancel us. We're sorry. It's okay. Okay, so Warren, Angel does kind of sit with him, and it's kind of sweet, I guess. And then, it shows them bringing her back with them, and Warren is like hugging Husk, and they're all reuniting. But this is what's really important, and I need to read this last. It's a lot, but I'm going to read. This is This is the last bit of the book, and it is like the narration. Okay. And the narration says, this is very Bella-coded before Bella was even a thing. So this is all narrated. Remember, Julie's dead.
Yeah.
They say death by drowning is peaceful, and I can tell you they're right. At least once you get beyond the initial panic, it's warm and comforting, like being in the arms of a caring lover. There are stories of drowning victims who refuse to let go of that lover, slapping their saviors and trying to return to that embrace of death. Of course, if they can't let go, they become dead as the lover they miss, even in life, feel fearful and passionless, stagnant and afraid. Josh will move on someday. I want him to. It's best for him.
Is this Julie's ghost?
It's best for him to have those who love him. There's no joy in watching him suffer, in watching anyone we truly love suffer. Eventually, he will sing again, and his words and passion will reach anyone who ever loved and lost, and who were ever enwrapped in the brief power and passing intensity of love that burns too hotly for anyone to hold on for too long. And then it shows Josh singing to a crowd of people. He's singing the song, She Lies with Angels. That's where the Hosier song comes in. It's in the end.
So good.
It's in the end. Josh is AU. Josh is Hosier, and he's singing, Hosier, please find these lyrics and please make it. Do you want me to read the song?
No.
Okay, great.
We don't have time.
Okay. But at the end, so he sings, it's not very long. But
okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's okay. So this song, I'm not going to sing it, but it's, she lies with angels and loved them more than heaven's heart could hold. She lies with child, she left his care, and both would weep from cold. Child to youth, remembrance dims, but passion still must hold. Two angels lie too bold. Two angels lie so bold. She returned to the heaven that missed her love. Her memory spun to gold. May she ever lie with angels. And then he's singing. He says, I miss you, Julia. And then he says, may you ever lie with angels. And then as he's saying this, we get the very last of her narration that says, he will move on, but he will never forget. And his words and passion will touch those who have ever loved and lost. But he'll be singing to just me.
Oh my God.
And that's She Lies with Angels, the best book that was ever written.
I just want to say thank you, Chuck Austen, for blessing our eyeballs with these beautiful works of art. I cannot wait to finish this run. If any more crazy stuff happens, we might just bring it back on the podcast and do another week of Chuck Austen.
Yeah, if we can find those books. And we're sorry this is a long run. I really hope that you guys stayed with us, especially for She Lies with Angels. It's so good. It is so fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry that Draco cut in and out at random spots, but it had to be read. It's insane.
To be read. It's good.
All right.
She Lies with Angels is great. We love it. We love you guys.
We love you, Chuck Austen.
Chuck Austen. This is now a Chuck Austen.
This is a Chuck Austen fan cast.
We love him.
So far, of all the authors I've read, Chuck Austen up at the top.
It's so good. She Lies with Angels was incredible. I'm so sorry for how long this podcast is.
Oh, yeah.
We're probably going to have another long one next week. We're going to do a recap of X-Men 97, the TV show. Probably be 2 parts. We have a lot to say about it. So there will be spoilers for that, as if there is spoilers of everything that we do, but that was a brand new one, and it's more popular than...
So yeah, catch up before we talk about that.
I hope in X-Men 97 Season 2 they have a whole She Lies with Angels run.
Oh, it'd be so good. I would watch a movie of Chuck Austen's work.
Please. Get on it. Get on it, Disney. She Lies with Angels 2025.
Oh, Marvel, please. Okay, Marvel, I know you're listening to this.
We know that everyone at Marvel is listening.
I'm saying this to Mr. Marvel himself. You need to... Johnny Marvel. You need to... Stan Lee's evaporated corpse. I need you to release Chuck Austen's run in an omnibus. You've released Chris Claremont's run at the same time. Almost every other comic that came out during this run.
We'll pay any amount of money for it.
I will gladly pay full. I normally, when I get omnibuses, I wait for them to go down like 50%. I will pay the $100 to $125 range for this comic.
So yeah, that was She Lies with Angels in the Draco. We know the Draco was... it was a little hard to...
It was hard, yeah. It was probably hard. I probably should have, yeah.
But it was good. It was good. She Lies with Angels, perfect. No notes.
10 out of 10.
Best book. Love it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, Connor. Thank you for letting me recap it for you. Thank you for letting me recap it to you, my audience that we love. We will see you next week.
We will see you next week.
X-Men 97.
All right. Bye.
Bye.